That is celebratory music. You want to know why? Because after several long weeks, months even, the UFC is finally back at the world's most famous Apex. Tomorrow night, it goes down, a super Apexy card if there ever was one, but a big main event, at least for the back end of the top 15 of the stacked up UFC Featherweight division. We have surging contenders, Steve Garcia entering the fight on a 6-fight win streak, taking on David Onama, who is a winner of 4 straight fights. And there are other fights that are taking place on the card. We have a big one for my fantasy team, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, Salsa Boy looking to get back on track against Ante Delija. And there's other things we'll talk about as well. But thank you for joining us. Happy Halloween to everybody around the world. We appreciate you joining us for the UFC Vegas 110 preview show and joining me. And I'm very happy to do this because normally this gentleman joins me after the cards are over when the matchmaking needs to be done. He's the co-host, the co-matchmaker, the prince of positivity for on to the next one and for MMAfighting.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let us say hello to the one and only Alexander K. Lee. AK, how we doing? Blue Jays up 3-2? About to win a world title? I love this.
My best friend, when you said we were coming back to the Apex, I said, I have to be on this preview show. I said, I have to be in this preview show, so I'm happy to be here. Even with my mind, yes, obviously on the Toronto baseball Blue Jays being 1 win away with 2 games at home from winning their first World Series in over 30 years. I apologize to the audience, by the way. As you can tell, obviously I've got a pretty mean playoff facial hair thing going. So I know it's a lot. I know you guys are like, whoa, like easy there. Like I thought this was like, I know it's unprofessional Fridays, but you know, you got to trim that beard, trim that mustache a little bit. I had to let it grow wild, guys. So I apologize if you're watching in HD and it's like taking up a lot of your screen. You know, it will be gone after tonight, after the Jays win. And by some chance, if it goes to game 7, it'll be gone by Sunday then, I guess. But yes, but we are here to talk UFC, guys. I know all my Torontonians, all my other Canadian fans who support the Blue Jays, they're going to get her done. Don't worry about that. What's really important is, will you guys be watching UFC Vegas 110? We are back. We are back, guys. 13 fights.
13 big fights. I mean, massive fights. But let me ask you, back to the facial hair, AK. How long has this playoff facial hair been growing? Is this a World Series growth or is this an entire Major League Baseball postseason growth?
This is 8 months of growth. As you can know, that's the only way to get it so lustrous. You got to commit early. You know, you got to commit early. So it's been going for 8 months. It's pretty thick. You know, my wife will be very happy when I finally shave it. But as it is, you know, she got to live with it. She got to live with it. Yeah.
Let me say something. I want to be honest with you, AK. I want to be honest with the world here. We have this card, which people are not very high on. We have next week's card, which less people are high on. I got to tell you, looking up and down the lineup, the storylines, some of the rankings, am I crazy to say this one is not that terrible?
I like this card.
Okay, good. So we're kind of on the same page here. Now that it's not the best main event of all time, but it's a meaningful one. And then you can sort of look up and down the card and like, there's some names that are new and there's some names that are put in positions to look like heroes, to shine, the Dante Johnsons of the world. There are fighters competing for their jobs essentially as well. And we'll get into that in a moment. So all in all, like, I don't think this is that bad, AK. I don't think it's that bad. It's the Apex itself that makes me feel so bad about it. It's not the fights and the fighters. It's just having them in the Apex where there's just no soul in that building. That's what hurts the most.
Yeah, so since I think we're going to get some good scraps here. Like, I think we're going to get some really exciting, like, back and forth scraps. I think the matchmaking for this card was excellent. I mean, sometimes you have a lot of great matchmaking of high-level fighters that's going to produce, like, you know, not the most crowd-pleasing contest. That happens, right? I mean, we just saw UC 321, right? Like, I liked the Umar Nurmagomedov Mario Bautista contest. I thought it was really enjoyable to watch. But I get it. It's not like, you know, it wasn't a big striking battle. There wasn't huge swings and action. So, you know, it wasn't exciting in that way. I think this matchmaking will produce that. Like, I think it's both people who are like mostly evenly matched in the rankings. I'm sure there's some squash matches. I got to look at this card again as we go down it. But for the most part, I actually think they did almost everything is pretty 50-50 to me. I have to look at some of the odds. So I like that aspect of it, Mike. I'm gonna damn it with faint praise here though, because what I'm trying to say is like, if this card were not UFC Vegas 110 and it were CFFC 74, you'd be like, oh, this card is stacked. Like, this is a great card. Like, this is some great, prospects on here. Like I said, some fights that should be action on paper. It's just, it's just a shame that like, I'm not going to tell people that because this is a high level, like the equivalent of a high level regional card with maybe, like one or two, like, legitimate UFC contender consequence fights on it, that you should be happy about that. No, I'm not going to blow that smoke, but I'm just trying to stay on the positive, right? If this had a different kind of names, different, like the event had a different brand, like you said, if it wasn't at the Apex, if you saw these names in the card, you'd be pretty excited. You'd be pretty excited to watch it, I think.
First off, shout out to David.
Oh wow,
David Daughtry. 10 membership gifts on this Halloween. Who knew you couldn't give away presents on Halloween? How about that? By the way, I saw my first Christmas commercial today, and I was like, really? We're not even at November 1st yet, and we're already doing this. And it kind of jazzed me up a little bit, if we're being honest. I love Christmas lights and Christmas music, but I love fist fighting as well. And we're going to get a big one at Featherweight tomorrow to cap off the card. We have Steve Garcia, who has looked really, really good, coming off the win over Calvin Kattar. High-profile win for him. And then David Onama is his opponent, coming off his most high-profile win, winning a tight decision against Giga Chikadze in April at UFC Kansas City. And I was talking to David Onama, and that interview is going to drop tomorrow morning on MMAfighting.com. And Onama told me that initially this fight was supposed to happen at UFC 320. This was the first date that was offered to him. He said Garcia couldn't do it. And then the UFC came back and said, okay, we have 3 more dates for you. You could do main event November 1st, main event November 8th, or you could fight November 15th, UFC 322 at Madison Square Garden. Shockingly, David Onama told me that he came back and told the UFC, sure, I'll fight at MSG, but I want to be high up on the main card. And the UFC came back with, okay, that's not going to happen. So you could fight November 1st in the main event. And not a bad problem to have, his first main event, but this is a big one, AK. Like, I feel like the loser of this fight, I'm not going to say is like completely out of title contention, but they're in some big trouble with this division being where it's at right now. So excitement levels for the Garcia Onama main event tomorrow.
I'm at a solid 8. Again, I just really like the matchup. I like that they've matched up 2 guys who are streaking. That they're not trying to protect either guy. I mean, why would they? It's not like either guy is particularly well-known star, respectfully, right? They're not a big name in that regard. But they are really good fighters. They are really good fighters. They have been getting results. At the end of the day, that's what we like to believe that the UFC is built on. So yeah, I hope, focusing on the positive outcome, I hope whoever wins this does get serious consideration as someone who will, fight for the title someday. They're not close. Let's be straight here. They're not close. Either guy could record like a hellacious first round knockout, and they're still at best like 2 wins away from a title shot. Like you would not see either man fighting for the featherweight title again, even if they continue their hot streak and do it in impressive fashion until like 2027. Like, it's just not in the cards for either of these guys. Steve Garcia, he spoke to Damon on our website, and he said that's kind of like one of the big problems with what's going on in the division is like, and to kind of go off what you said, Mike, like if whoever loses, it could knock them far back, but also because the top 12 or so of the featherweight division at the moment is so slow to move. I think Steve in his interview with Damon specifically cited, Yair Rodriguez. He's like top 5. He fights once a year, maybe. Brian Ortega is still in the top 10 because I guess he hasn't lost to someone outside the top 10 yet, so he's still holding on to his spot. Like, there's reasonable cases for these guys to be the top 10, but it's also because they're not going to fight the number 11 guy. They're not going to fight the number 13 guy. And so that's what we end up with here, because I think Garcia and Onama in the official UFC rankings are what, 12 and 13, I believe. Garcia's 12, Onama's 13. So yeah, you've got to match these, just outside the top 10 contenders together. And is that fair? Probably not. Is that fun for us as fans? Frankly, yes. I love the idea of seeing these guys fighting and not having to wait till they're in the top 10. It's a contender fight. We get to find out now. We get to find out now which one of these guys is potentially a top 10, top 5 guy, and Mike, as you said, someone who potentially just isn't and maybe never will be.
Yeah, and look, these 2 guys are very good fighters. they do not have the gift of gab. There's not a lot of like cachet there with both these guys. So they're just kind of going up the typical UFC ladder for most fighters, right? Like you win a bunch of fights in a row, then they give you sort of the vet test with a guy who has main evented cards or is in the bottom half of the rankings that has fought really good competition. And both those guys got that. Steve got Cater and Onama got Chikadze. So like, and now the next thing is you just kind of fight the next dude up. And if you get a big win, perhaps you jump up a little bit more. Maybe Josh Emmett awaits the winner. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of where they're at right now. I'll tell you one thing. I don't like completely disagree with Steve Garcia. The one thing he said, I believe he said it at Media Day, this thing that really irked me was that he blames Alexander Volkanovski for the division being the way that it is. I just think that's a little ridiculous. Like, it's not like he fought a year and a half ago. He fought in April, and there's legitimately no one for him to fight right now. I mean, there is Movsar, but the UFC hates him. Diego fought John Silva and won, but that fight just happened, so there's no big rush for that. Aljo just fought Ortega not that long ago and won. So, I mean, there are guys there. Like, I understand, like, the Yair conversation and stuff, but if a guy's injured, a guy's injured. But the whole, well, it's Volkanovski's fault that this division is at a standstill. When Ilya Taporia was champion and said, I don't want to do this anymore. And they had to do what they had to do. And Volk's having a kid. Like, these are things that, like, I don't blame Volkanovski for. But the look on your face tells me you might have somewhat of a differing opinion.
Sorry. You can't blame anyone in the division, is what I was going to say, because it's really a UFC issue, guys. I'm sure Volkanovski really would have loved to have would have loved to have fought before the end of 2025, right? He's been ready, but the Madison Square Garden card was pretty stacked already, so they're just like, okay, UFC is loath to put 3 title fights in the card, and I don't blame them, as I've said many times. Putting 3 title fights in the card, no matter how cool it looks on paper, often leads to a bit of a drag. It just doesn't always work out that way. So they weren't going to put him on that. And I guess they want to, and then December wouldn't make sense because there's the talks of possibly a card in February that might be in Australia or somewhere else. But I think if it is in Australia, they want to have the option of Volk headlining that. Then you add in the fact that they're kind of saving some of these champions for the Paramount deal that's coming up, right? And guys, in 2026, they want to make a big splash by first quarter, at least first quarter, second quarter, so first half of next year. They want to have Volkanovski on there. They want to have Kayla Harrison on there. They want to have Ilya Taporia on there. Who's another name I forget? Hamza Shemaev, right? I'm not saying all these people were in talks to fight before the end of the year. I'm just giving an example of like some of the star power that's sort of being saved, for lack of a better term, for 2026, because. Listen, they're giving ESPN, one last, 2 more good pay-per-views, right? 2 more title fights in the December card, and then it's a fond, I hope so, mostly fond farewell, and then they're going to move on. So yeah, it is definitely not Alexander Volkanovski's fault. I think he would have fought someone and kept the line moving. But again, with the end of the year, this end of the year part is tricky for the UFC because they're really, really, really looking ahead to Paramount right now.
Yeah, he wanted to fight in December. He said that multiple times, but I mean, apparently the UFC is. I don't think it's like 100% they're going back to Sydney. I know it's like they're going back there at some time next year, but it's usually they're back there in February. And I know they haven't like officially announced that yet. And there might be like another location that's like up in the air for that time frame as well. But they're obviously going to hold Volk for that. Like they want to sell that place out and they want the region's fighter headlining. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. So I didn't really love that from Steve Garcia. If he's doing this to try to make headlines, I don't think it's the right way to go about it. Just win fights, Steve. Like this is who you are. You're a good fighter. You're not that guy that we're going to be sitting there and clipping off every single thing that you say. But we will clip off knockouts and we'll clip off getting your hand raised, and we'll certainly talk about it on shows for the next few days until we get to the Apex card and then to UFC 322. So it's a big fight. I honestly I don't really have like a lot of questions here. I think they're both very good. We're just going to see who the better man is and who has, I guess, the higher ceiling in this division. But here's the betting lines, AK. It's very close. It's funny, when I talked to Onama, he thought he was like the biggest underdog on the card. And I'm like, why do you say that? He's like, oh no, I'm a huge underdog. I'm like, you're like a coin flip right now. And he was like, oh, damn it. I wish I was like this huge underdog. I'm like, well, just pretend you are. Currently, according to FanDuel, Steve Garcia, slight favorite, -138. The comeback on David Onama is +112. So we have Steve Garcia, the Jackson Wink product, facing David Onama, formerly the Glory MMA man, now at Factory X in Colorado. Who gets it done, and how? How do you see this one going down, AK?
Yeah, I'll lean slightly towards the favorite. Like you said, it's not much of a favorite, so I'm going Mean Machine. I'm going Steve Garcia. I'm probably going a lot just on his his past results before the Cater fight, which was also good. I mean, I'm not even saying the Cater fight was bad. Like that was a very important step up performance for him. So I love what I've seen. I like what I saw from Onama against Chikaze too. So no complaints all around. There's a reason this is so closely matched. Neither winner would surprise me, but I just lean towards Garcia. I think I like him a little more on the feet. I guess that's kind of where I'm going with the edge here. I think I like his striking a little more. I think if the fight gets grimy, I think Garcia can do a little more damage. It's hard to question Onama's power. So if he flatlines Garcia, I mean, boy, what a statement that would be. But I'm kind of trusting Steve to avoid taking too many big shots. Maybe I'm wrong, and like I said, it just turns into a complete dust up, and it's just whoever lands first wins. But assuming that for the most part, again, this is a pretty steady fight with a few sparks of striking like explosiveness, I'll lean Garcia by decision.
I'm torn, AK.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I honestly I don't know. I think this is like super coin flippy, and if I was betting, I'm betting on David Onama here. Like I know Garcia's looked really good. He's the fight with Cater, like I know he didn't finish him, but I was actually like really impressed with what he did over 3 rounds. Onama is just he's really good at taking away like your best weapon, and he is not afraid to get, how should I say this in the most polite way possible? He's not afraid to be boring in there if he has to. He's not afraid to slow down his opponents. And I feel like Onama can, I guess. Like it's just such a close fight. I think just for the content, I'll go with Onama to eke out a really close decision. But I think the first like 2 rounds of this fight are gonna be really exciting. And then I think Onama will figure it out a little bit. And then this fight's going to slow down a bit. And maybe like the final couple of minutes of the 5th round, like we'll get back up again. But I see Onama winning like a technical decision. But look, if Steve Garcia goes out there and puts a 50-45 on him, it wouldn't surprise me. It's just one of those fights where I don't think there's a result that would shock me right now. Yeah. So it's a good fight. It's a really good fight.
The odds are spot on, right? The odds are spot on. That's why they're the way they are, right?
Yes. The co-main event. Ante Delija, AK. Ante Delija. He was the last one on the scale, correct?
No, Phil Rowe was, which got me worried because Phil Rowe has missed weight a couple of times. He did show up, made it 171. I thought he looked a little shaky, but
he does.
But I could just be my interpretation of how he was standing on the scale. He looked a little bit shaky to me. He's a very, very big welterweight. But no, Ante was second last, and he came in 25.5 pounds lighter than the quite sizable Waldo Cortes-Acosta.
I need Waldo Cortes-Acosta to do big things tomorrow. My fantasy team. See, I have this incredible draft strategy of just drafting fighters who aren't going to fight the rest of the year.
That's good.
Kayla Harrison. I mean, Movsar, Timarov, who's suspended for a year. Like I'm going to win this thing without having 4 fighters compete. Oh, comes down to good old Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Good fight, man. I mean, obviously now Delija's like in such an interesting spot, right? Like Tom Aspinall already said, like, I ain't fighting him. I would rather strip myself of the belt. I'd rather vacate the belt than fight this guy, which of course Dana White loved that. I mean, just another thing for the chamber of Dana White. But now we got Waldo Cortes-Acosta, who is surging, very active heavyweight. But he is coming off a loss to Sergey Pavlovich and another closely line fight here. So how are we feeling about some heavyweight co-main event action, AK? Is this a co-main event? This has to be a co-main event, correct?
Yeah. They're top 10. They're both top 10, the UFC's official rankings. I'm pretty sure. I think we have Ante like 10 or 11. So yeah, this is legitimate. This is a co-main event. This is not a penultimate bout. I'm really not sure what to think of Waldo, just because I think I was sort of defending him a lot as he was coming up. Not a lot of people are big fans of Salsa Boy's fighting style. Sometimes he has a tendency to play around. He's not always, going for the kill, not always putting on the most exciting fights. But he's winning. He was winning. He's put together a win streak. I always say, in any division, I don't care. It's hard to win 4 straight fights, 5 straight fights, 6 straight fights. It's really hard. It's really hard to find that kind of consistency, especially heavyweight, which can be pretty chaotic. So, give Waldo Cortes-Acosta his flowers for that. I do think the Sergey Pavlovich fight was a little revealing as far as like what his ceiling could be. Like, there's no shame in not being able to beat Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey Pavlovich is a legit top 5, top 6 guy in his division. But then you look at the other names, like, would I pick Waldo to beat Jailton Almeida? Would I pick Waldo to beat Alexander Volkov? Like Curtis Blades? I really wouldn't. Like, I'm based on what I've seen. The guys that Waldo's beaten, again, losing to Pavlovich, even a loss a long time ago to Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I don't know. I think we've kind of seen how good he is, and he's fine. He's a top 10 heavyweight, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Delija, and maybe I'm giving him too much of like a PFL rub. I really think they do have something here with them. And I'm also obviously a bit of recency bias with him taking out Tabora, which is actually like a really difficult thing to do. That guy's like been the top 10 forever. So I think Delija's hot streak is real. Like, he's going to have 3 wins in 2025, Mike, if he takes out Waldo. Is Ante going to make your top 5 fighters of the year list? He also beat Jürgen De Castro earlier this year outside of the UFC, obviously.
No.
3-0. 3-0, going from UFC debutant to top 6, top 7 ranked contender?
No.
Okay. I tried.
You tried.
I tried, guys. I'm looking at the comments, Mike. I'll see what the comments saying.
Yeah, I would love to see what the comments have to say about this. I will say that. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's a heavyweight fight. Like, this has got to go. I think this is going 15, and much like the WCA Sergey Pavlovich fight, I don't think we're gonna be talking about it all that much. We'll just say who won. I don't think a bonus will be coming from this. So, yeah, okay, that's a fight.
That's it.
The fight. Yeah. I need WCA to win. I'm picking WCA first round knockout in a bonus. I'm sorry.
I'm going Ante first round knockout. So there you go.
Well, I hope you're wrong. Jed hopes I'm wrong too. Jed really wants. Jed is definitely on the Delija side of things. Also in the main card, we have Temba Garimbo versus Jeremiah Wells. Good to see Jeremiah back. Isaac Dolgarian is back against Yadir.
I love this fight. This again. We talk about. Well, no, I don't need to go too deep into it. Just saying, I talk about taking 2 up and coming guys and just saying, like, we're not going to try and build them up against a lesser competition. Like, let's just throw them in. Let's throw them in and see what happens, right? Because I think both they have a ton. I think Dolgarian is so intriguing. Like, I know skill, like all around skill wise, there's a lot that needs to be done. But guys with that kind of like motor always like excite me. They always like make me think like, man, if you add more dimensions to a guy with that kind of motor and his physical skills, like, you got a guy who's pretty dangerous. Like, I don't know, title contender. It's a little too early in his career to say, but I will boldly say this. I'll be very surprised if Isaac Dolgarian is not a ranked UFC fighter at some point in the next couple of years. I'll go as far as to say that. Which is weird because I like Del Valle as well. I actually think Del Valle is really good. But I think that's what I mean by this is whoever loses this fight, I don't think it's like, oh, well, only one of these guys is going to go on to become like a legit 145er in the UFC. I think they both have that potential, and this is just like a fun way to see kind of where they are early in their careers. I hope we see both these guys on the UFC for like a long time, regardless of who wins or loses.
Yeah, we haven't seen, because I was trying to think, like, when was the last time we've seen Isaac Dolgarian?
Long time.
Twice. Yeah, it's been over a year.
Yep.
He fought twice in 2024. He lost to Christian Rodriguez, and then he beat Brendan Marat, which, I like Brendan a lot, but, it's just kind of a mismatch there, and he did what he was supposed to do. So that will be a really fun fight. Charles Radke is back, flipping birds to the dozens of dozens.
Why?
In the Apex. Probably not even dozens, if we're being honest. Taking on Daniel Frunza. That should be a fun fight. We'll see how Chucky Buffalo bounces back from getting absolutely annihilated by Mike Malott. Billy Ellicott is back, AK. He is so back. He is, I believe, the featured prelim right now. And boy, you want to get people continuing to watch. Perhaps you may want to rethink that decision, but maybe Billy Ellicott just had a bad night at the office and he comes back against Kevin Christian. Timmy Kwamba, Chang Ho Lee is going to be really fun. Dante Johnson is one of those guys coming off Contender Series that people seem to be very high on. Big, powerful finisher taking on Cedric Dumas. Buried on the prelims, AK. Women's bantamweight action. Norma Dumont versus Ketlin Vieira.
Yes.
This deserved a little better.
Mike, this is normally where I would jump to the defense of the women's bantamweight division. This fight might suck.
How dare you?
I'm so sorry.
How dare you? Okay.
This is a little bit of oil and water to me.
Oh no.
I don't like. I just think the style matchup is not conducive to like. And again, you know what? I stand by this because I was gonna say Irina. No, because people will say like, "Oh, look at Dumont and Aldana. Like that was a pretty exciting fight." Like, yeah, but on paper that looked like a good fight. Like, I don't know if Vieira Dumont stylistically, Vieira is not like the most like barn burning fighter when she steps into the cage. If I'm being like really honest, I think she's a really good fighter. I don't log her among like the most exciting fighters, even on the women's side. So I kind of don't blame the UFC for not putting this in the main card. I don't know if it's going to be a fun one to watch. But yes, from a ranking standpoint, this is actually the highest on the card, I think, combined, because I think Vieira is 4 and Dumont is 5. So this actually has the most stakes theoretically, if you think that they even care. If you think the UFC is looking beyond Harrison Nunes at all and like actually trying to set up some sort of contender line, then this has the most stakes in the card. But I don't even know if that's the case.
Yeah, Caitlin Vieira will never fight Kayla Harrison again, so she's like out of the equation.
That's yeah.
I mean, like I knew Caitlin would give Kayla a tougher fight than most thought that she would, and she did. But yeah, they're not going to go back to that well. And Dumont's looked great. She's looked really, really good. And I didn't think the Aldana fight was that exciting. She just beat the hell out of her. Like she whooped her for 15 minutes and like battered her. Like, I don't even think Aldana's recovered fully from that just yet. So we'll see if Norma Dumont can put herself in a really good position in this division, depending on how it goes. We get Alice Ardalayan, big favorite against Montserrat Conejo Ruiz.
Big favorite. What are the odds for this? What are the odds of this fight? Stop it.
Take a guess.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look yet. I was just about to click.
Take a guess.
Ardalayan cannot be more than a... You said big favorite?
She's a big favorite.
That's the exact wording you're...
I believe. Hold on, AK. Let me just double check.
Don't say it.
She is the biggest favorite on the entire card.
You are. That's because the card's so evenly matched. So she can't be more than a -2.
She's a bigger favorite than Dante Johnson.
She can't be more than a -275.
She's a -375. She's the biggest favorite on the card. Dante Johnson's -355 over Dumas.
Listen,
Ardalayan is -375.
I know we have not seen Montserrat Conejo fight in like 2 years, almost 2 years. It's been a long time. We have not seen Conejo in a long time, almost 2 years. Okay, fine. She's not a world beater anyway. Ardalayan, like she's coming off a win over who did you fight? Rando Santos. It wasn't like it was a clear win and a kind of a fun fight, but it wasn't like, oh, Alice Ardalayan is like has set the the ship straight. Yeah, and like she's on her. This is weird. Is this based on her social media following? I checked the other day. She has 4 million TikTok followers.
Yeah.
And some of her TikTok's pretty funny. If I'm being, her TikTok and her I just think her social.
She looked really good in her last fight. Like I thought she was brought in as like a prop, but she looked good in her last fight.
Man, minus almost 4-1 favorite.
The biggest favorite on the entire fight card.
That's not right. That should you can't
at a professional record of 10 wins and 7 losses. She is a -375 favorite.
You can't.
She's coming off of the fight of the night.
It was fun
against Rayani Dos Santos.
Yes, it was fun. I remember. Guys, do not put this in a parlay. If you
feel bet on Conejo, forget a bet.
Oh gosh, I don't know. 4-1 favorite, and there's nothing against Alice Ardalayan. I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. Like you said, 3 UFC fights. She's won 1. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
Billy Alacana, if you were wondering, is the 3rd biggest favorite on the card at -265. The 4th biggest favorite on the card is the prelim opener, Talita Alencar, the -230 favorite against Ariane Carnelossi. Big fight for Talita Alencar. You will see why a little bit later on today on MMAfighting.com. I got to speak to the former 3-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, so you can see why it's such a big fight for her.
Carnelossi, I know we haven't seen her in a while. We haven't seen her get a legitimate win Sorry, I'm just she won by disqualification. I'm sorry, I should say legitimate. We haven't seen her, win a decision or a finish. In 4 years. Okay, I see it. Okay, I see why the line is where it's at. All right. I think I think Carlos is not that bad. But it's not an insane line. 2-1 favorite. Okay, yeah, a little over 2-1. Man, can I just tell people not to bet on this card? Just don't do it.
Tough one.
Just stay away. We have a pay-per-view. We have a pay-per-view coming up in 2 weeks. High stakes. Most of you probably know way more about the fighters on that card. Like I know, I'm sure there's people who enjoy betting every week. Regular listeners of No Bets Barred, great show. But you don't have to bet. You can sort of talk about betting. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not touching this card with the little $1 or $2 I bet when I do a gamble. Don't do it, guys. Stay away. Stay away from all these bets. Stay away.
Well, let's go to the peeps. Everyone seems like they're in a great mood today, including J. Ray B. Can't decide if I'm less excited about loophole Gable Steveson or the Apex, or how often someone breaks their silence on the MMA Fighting website.
Listen, guys. Listen.
I don't even remember the last time I used that. I saw either Chuck, I think Chuck Mendenhall said something about it once a few years back. I don't think I've ever used that line again.
It made you very self-conscious. What was the last time we did? Yeah, we haven't done one of those. We do a lot of releases
release first statement. Yeah. Release first statement or release statement. That's what we've got one.
I feel like someone broke. I will say, I think someone did break their silence recently, and it was, oh my gosh, what was it? Anyway, I don't think it's totally off base, that comment. I think we have used that headline recently. Guys, you got to feed the bulldog. Those when people, I'm telling you, that's how these search engines work, man. They look for someone breaking the silence, and that's what pop up. So
yes,
you just got to play the game.
All right, let's see what the peeps are saying here. I'm sure we're going to talk more about Gable later on, considering what happened last night. Let's see what is happening here.
I pinned a comment. Did you see this one, my best friend?
Who's it from?
Jake C. They might not be in the chat anymore. Jake C. 7296. I don't know if you can see this on YouTube. I pinned it on YouTube. I don't think that helps you right here.
It does not help me here in the production studio.
That's all good.
You could read out loud.
Yeah, I'll read it. It's just, has a Steve ever been a champion in the UFC? Obviously, I thought, Wonder Boy had 2 cracks at it, right? We had Steven.
Sure did.
Steven. Don't call him Steve. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call Stephen Thompson Steve. I'm sure he wouldn't get too mad at you. But no, has there been a Steve, Steven, Stephen, Stevie, a Steph Curry? I don't think so. Esteban? No, just I think he'd be trying to be the first Steve if he made it that far, if he made it to contention.
True.
Yeah, Stephen Thompson is the only one who has even fought for. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve Ursig.
Oh, Stevie Vinny Sigs.
Yeah, there we go.
Because we call him Vinny and
This is true. I have forgotten his real name.
Good call. Good shout.
Joe Stevenson fought for the UFC title, lightweight title. That is about it, I think. You can count tournament winners. Of course, we had the great Steve Jenham. That is it. We had the great Steve Jenham, and that is it. So you know what? We'll count Steve Jenham, guys. UFC 3 tournament, open weight tournament winner. There you go.
So if you're a up and coming fighter and your name is Steve, the door is wide open for you.
You can make history.
Lazy bin Mike is dressed like Raven from the neck down. We can't see it, but he has cut off jean shorts and a flannel tied around his waist. That's not true.
I wish.
I'm wearing just regular jeans and some slides right now, for being honest.
Lazy Bet said Stephan Bonner technically a tough champion. Lazy Bet, how dare you? Stephan Bonner did not win the Ultimate Fighter. Whoa.
He lost to Forrest Griffin.
He earned a contract. He is not recognized as the Ultimate Fighting. Wow, that was, how dare they?
Is Norma and Ketlin seen as a contender eliminator? They're both as high as they could be, really, to be one, but does it feel like it to you guys? God, no. Norma, maybe. Maybe.
Norma, I would say Norma, like, almost for sure. It's hard to say. So wait, when do you think Kayla Amanda's happening? They're not going to wait. Do you think they're waiting to the White House, or they're not going to wait? It'll be for one of the first, like no later than March.
I think they should put on the first one, honestly.
January.
That's when I would do it.
When are they going to announce this, Mike? How long are they going to wait to announce this?
They'll probably announce 322 week would be my guess.
Okay. Possibly. Yeah. Okay. And to the UFC's credit, I'll even say, like, they don't need to.
It could be March.
They don't really need to be promoting Nunes Harrison like actively right now because it's been promoting itself organically for like 2 years, right? So whenever they start actually doing like actual promos and trailers and blah blah and all the clips, it's like, oh yeah, it's just official. It's like we all know, we've all been looking forward to this fight. So it's true, that fight only needs a date. So if they only gave it like two months of prep time, it's like, oh, it's more than enough. So yeah, okay, not the worst thing. But yes, let's say it does happen sooner. You don't think that? Oh God, Norma Dumont would have to wait so long. Oh no, you would have Kayla fight Norma Dumont at the White House if Kayla beat Amanda Nunes, of course. That's what she did. So I think Norma needs this one. I think she really needs this one.
Yes, and if she wins, like I don't think she needs to fight again. But I mean, you could give her like Juliana Pena to like put it over the top.
Oh,
I mean, that's kind of like what you do, right?
What if she lost though?
Ooh, that'd be tough.
What if she lost?
That'd be tough. Well, I mean, if Nunes won, then we can run the trilogy. Call it a day.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of people asking. Joseph, does the winner of Steve Garcia versus David Onama get a title eliminator next time we see them? What? Most of the division is waiting to see who gets Volk, according to Steve. That is insane, Joseph.
They're not close.
They are. It's 3 wins, maybe 4, before we're even sniffing that conversation.
Yeah, they're not close. Which is silly because they're both, again, at some point they're both gonna be like, one of these guys gonna be on a 7 or 8 fight win streak or something like that, and they're still gonna wait. But hey, look at other divisions. It's happened to fighters in other divisions. It's happening now to fighters in other divisions. So
yeah, I mean, Yusuf Zalal is like the closest one, and he probably still needs 2 wins before he gets a title shot. Like he's right there. He's in a good spot, but he still probably needs 2 wins. So like,
and he's ahead of them.
2 wins. David Onama needs like a bunch. Title eliminator. Golly, I think Josh Emmett is probably waiting in the wings for one of these 2 guys. And that's probably as good as it gets here. And I don't think beating Josh Emmett is going to get you a title shot in 2026. So we shall see. But no, I feel, I feel pretty wild. I feel pretty confident in that. Thoughts on the Ronda Rousey situation?
What's the situation? She said quite a few things in the last few days.
Yeah, she be angry, but also like so out of touch with reality in a lot of aspects. Like she talked about Dana White being like, if Dana leaves, the UFC will crumble.
Oh no.
That is absolutely not true.
That was okay. No,
that's absolutely not true.
I was about to defend her. I was like, I thought some things she said this week were okay. Not that one. That was she is very good friends with Dana White. We should note that. So that is obviously like I don't know. She's really thinking that far about the answer. Like she's very good friends with Dana White. The Dana White UFC is really like the only UFC she knows. So yeah, she would say something like that and back him up. And also, but no, the machine at this point is self-sustaining. It will chug along no matter who they decide to put up there. Yeah, this does not need Dana White. I'm sure Dana White would tell you the same thing. He's just hanging around because he for the most part I think still enjoys some of the work and it's making good money, right?
I mean, look, his presence is obviously important. Like, when putting together the Paramount deals and, some of the sponsorship deals, like Dana is an important figure with that. But if we're talking about being like the promotable face of the sport, it's just not true. Like you just go watch the UFC 321 post-fight press conference and tell me that is a guy who is like all in on this company right now. Because he just ain't. He's been checked out for years. And that's okay. Like he's won the game and he's just like, well, fine, I'll go out there and do my thing. And he doesn't have to do any post-fight media at this point. He doesn't have to do any media at all. So like, I actually think like, and I've been saying this for a while, like I do believe Dan is checked out and does not like the UFC is just like, it's my company and I have to like go and do these things. And I think if some of the business deals didn't require Dana, I think he'd be happy just doing Power Slap and Zuffa boxing and First Form and having his bull win competitions. Like, I think he'd be totally okay with that. And I think him doing the shows that he does is very, very smart. It's very, very smart because he doesn't need to promote to us because he's got us. Whether Dana's there or not, it does not matter. We're watching everything. We're going to watch this Apex card tomorrow. The fans that he's trying to cater towards, they ain't watching this card tomorrow. So that is ridiculous. The Joe Rogan thing I thought was, I didn't know what to think about that.
I still think she was mostly kidding because so people who
I don't know, man.
Hold on, let's give context to it because I wrote this up for MMA Fighting and I saw the clip that was circulating, so then I'm like, okay, we should write this up, and so I wrote, you guys go to MMAfighting.com. You see my byline on there. it was right at the end of this podcast, and she's talking with Bert Kreischer. This on the what's it called? Kreischer Show, Kreischer Pod, Bertcast. What's it called? Like, what's the show?
She's talking to Bert Kreischer. I don't know.
She's talking to Bert Kreischer on this podcast. It has a name. I'm so sorry. I just forgot the name of it. At the end, he's just kind of playfully asking, what would it take to get you to come back and fight? And she says $1 billion. And then he says, like, well, what about me? What about just like fight me? It's like, and then she starts joking, oh, I'll beat you up right now. And then Bert mentions that, oh, I was just, texting Rogan before you came on, and I was asking him, like, how long would I have to train to if I were to be able to beat you in a fight, to beat Ronda in a fight. And that's when she drops the line of, oh, Joe wouldn't know. Joe doesn't know what he's talking about. So
Joe's not an expert.
Joe's not an expert. He's just a fan with an audience. And while I do think, like, I think she was kidding, the conversation. Again, it wasn't about fighting in general. It was technically sort of talking about, could she beat up Bert, or could Bert beat up her, I guess. So I think there's some joking. She's kind of playing along with the gag a little bit, but behind every joke, there's some truth. I'm sure there's a part of her that's not like the greatest fan of Joe Rogan's commentary, as many of us are not. And but I don't think it was that malicious, Mike. I think it was mostly joking.
No? I think she was serious, because I don't like Ronda when she jokes. It's pretty obvious when she jokes. I think there is some like deep down like madness towards him in some way. I don't know if he said something on the podcast or whatever. The legends, the whole thing about the Habib comment and how fans shit on all the legends, like, I think there's like some truth to that.
Yeah.
To some degree, but the way she like presented it was ridiculous, because it's essentially like, this is how they treated me on the way out. When in reality, she turned on all of you first. She, like, after the Holly Holm loss, she was just like, F everybody, the fans, the media, and she vanished off the face of the earth. And she took the Amanda Nunes fight knowingly that she wasn't going to speak or be shown to anybody that entire fight week. She did no promotion for that fight. And that's her decision, and that's fine. But when you make that decision and you turn your back on the community the way that she did, even though we revered her and how important she was, and the fan base is what they are, and it'll never change. Like, the hardcore fans know what's up. Some of the other fans who are probably not fans anymore probably just dug dirt on Ronda's grave, and that's fine. Ronda's not used to losing. So, like, I understand everything she went through, but the way she handled it is a whole different thing. And again, like, even Brendan Fitzgerald talked about this on our post about this, our graphic. He was like, you know what? If she was at a UFC fight and they showed her in the crowd, the fans would cheer for her. And I totally agree with that. I think it's absolutely true. But this whole thing that, like, oh, we bury everybody before it's over and the media turns on everybody and all this shit, it's just not true. Like, she is just like on an island of herself, the way she kind of like self-sabotaged her legacy. And I think, and for me, like, I don't think she should come back and fight at all. But there's this whole thing, and like, the only reason I think she would ever do it, and at least this is what I thought, was to right that wrong, was to be like, you know what? Maybe I didn't do this the right way, having my final fight. Maybe I just need to go back and like do it the right way. Seems like she has no regrets at all. So to me, like, it is what it is. And she's not like completely wrong, but I mean, come on. You're telling me, and this is a great one. You think anyone like shit on Robbie Lawler on his way out? Hell no. Hell no. Robbie always was who he was. And like, we revered him for that. So yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
But I feel like Robbie's almost an exception. There's a lot of things that were exceptional about Robbie's. He got to go out on his own terms. He got to go out and win. And yes, he's of the personality that's sort of not going to rub fans the wrong way and all that. So like, I'm with you though. I agree. I think her overarching point, I agree with a lot. We have said many times, MMA is one of the worst businesses at maintaining its history, right? And sort of being able to explain the importance of the past to its new fans. Part of it is it's on us. Part of it's on the UFC. Part of it's on other organizations. But part of it's on the fans too. I think a lot of newer fans who are just not remotely interested in learning about anything before they started watching, which to me is crazy, because I remember when I got into MMA, like, pretty late. I didn't start following MMA until like mid 2000s, maybe, like right during the boom period of the UFC. But I wanted to go back and consume everything. I was like, yo, tell me about Pride. Like, tell me about, explain to me why this guy's revered in Pride and why people say Pride was this and this and this. And I listened. Like, I didn't argue with people. I didn't go like, oh, that's not true. That can't be that those guys are like. I just listened. I watched stuff, and it was so enjoyable. So it is weird to me that A lot of this new, and not everyone. I'm not talking, of course, to the fine listeners and viewers who are in this watching right now, but there was a vast majority of posts. Say what you want, like post Conor McGregor, post whatever, the ESPN post, whatever. A later era of fans who have come in the last 10, 15 years who are like just no interest in learning anything about what came before, and that is so weird to me. In any sport, I can't imagine starting to watch basketball and being like, oh, I'm just gonna only like the guys who play now and then crap on everyone who came in the past. Like, it's just very weird. It's very weird to me. So her broader point is fine, but I think you're right, Mike. Like particularly the specific gripes she has with how people have treated her since. You've got, like, if you're her, I feel like you've got to take the good with the bad, and I hope she is in a good place and is happy with, like you said, no urge to come back other than whatever she had the chance to right or wrong. I don't think she will. But yeah, I hope that it doesn't linger with her, the thought that like, oh, well, fans turned on me for no reason. And I'm like, well, there was some reason. Like, there was some reason, you know?
Okay. But here's like the other thing. Her examples were so shitty. They were really bad. Chuck Liddell, when he's on top, he's the best. He's the best. The second he loses, oh, Chuck Liddell ain't shit. He was never shit. It was no one said that about Chuck.
That was a weird example. He's like one of the most.
No one said that about Chuck. The only thing we said about Chuck is like, hey, UFC, stop trotting him out there.
Yeah.
Like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's past it. We want his legacy to remain in some way. I don't want to see him get knocked out every single fight. Rampage Jackson is like more over now than he's ever been. Even as a fighter, he's more popular now than he was as a fighter. Fedor ain't shit. He never was shit. What are you talking about? Again, the whole thing with Fedor was never like, oh, this guy sucked. It was just like, he's 45. Why is he out there fighting Ryan Bader? Like, we just don't want to see these guys get clobbered because they have nothing else going. George St. Pierre, what are you talking about? George St. Pierre, in like most people's opinions, is at worst the third greatest fighter in the history of the sport. And like literally everybody's mind. So like her examples were just awful for this. But look, I don't know. I wish Ronda would like come back and do it right, but she doesn't seem like she wants to do that. So,
sorry, Masters of the Universe Classic. Sorry, that's the phrase I was post-pandemic. The post-pandemic. That's a huge group of fans. Huge group of fans. Which again, I welcome all fans. I would never tell someone, oh, you came in after the pandemic like you're not a real fan. No, you are a real fan. But I do think there's a large contingent of those fans that are just like, yeah, they whatever happened before, they're like, okay, not whatever. Oh, McGregor, Brock Lesnar, like that's all I really care about. I'm not going to dig deeper. I'm not going to like, and that's such a tragedy to me because there's so much. I always say, like, MMA is supposed to be fun, and being able to have this like rich history to look back on and watch whenever you want at your fingertips is like so awesome. And I hope a lot of fans like start taking advantage of that. You know,
Lazy, let's talk about Karate Combat. It's happening.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm so bad at keeping up with Karate Combat. There's one tonight.
Uriah Hall's fighting tonight.
Yes.
Luis Payne is fighting tonight.
Okay.
And that's pretty much that.
Okay.
If you want to watch fisticuffs and some knockouts, sure. Like, it's going to be okay.
Uriah Hall, perfect signing.
Can I just say, I feel like they have lost so much heat. They've lost so much buzz this year. I don't know what it is, but they were red hot for a while. And then they just kind of fell off the face of the earth, like real fast. I don't know if they're just trying to do too much too soon, but I'd like to see them back to where they were. It's exciting. It's exciting when we have like other promotions coming up and like doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there was which reminded me of, where is it? Someone mentioned earlier that they want to talk about Gable and Brian Battle. I don't know. It's in there somewhere. But I think it was our buddy David Chaudhry. We want to talk about Brian Battle and Gable Steveson. So Dirty Boxing had their 4th official event last night. I had to say I missed some of it. First off, shout out to the hero Big Tuna, who is so back.
He's back.
He is so back. And I even told Mike Perry, I'm like, dude, Big Tuna is fighting on this card. Don't fuck him up like Bellator did. Make him a superstar, damn it. And he goes out there and beats Braxton Smith. Got it done. Big Tuna is so back. Brian Battle fought Nick Coring, who is one of the Diaz guys. And that fight was a slobber knocker, AK. I don't know if you saw it. Coring hurt Battle badly. Like he just came out guns blazing. Battle was hurt, got rocked, recovered, and then delivered this nasty uppercut that put Koring on a knee. And then Koring just kind of sat on a knee, and the referee's just standing there like, you got to get up. And then Battle just walked over to him, stood over him, and just like threw a right hand and just deaded him. And I was like, ooh, okay. And then Nick protested the stoppage, and Brian won in like a minute. But that was a great fight. And then Gable just destroyed Billy Swanson in 15 seconds.
The great Billy Swanson. Doing his job.
Boy, did he. And I guess McBainer was there and all that stuff. But I will say, let me shout out a guy who I wish he had a little more charisma on the mic. If there's one thing, like obviously you've seen the Gable highlight, and you've seen the Brian Battle highlight. If there's one dude I want you to go back and watch, Montavious Ware fought last night. This dude is electric. He is good at this. Like, this guy could be a star for them. And then Jason Anik talked to him after the fight, and I was like, ooh, he's got Montel Jacksonitis, where it's just like, how do you feel about your performance? Good. Do you want to come back? Sure. Can we have you back for TBX5? Okay. Montavious Ware, everybody. I was like, what are you doing? What a waste. But dude was nasty. He was so nasty. So if you go back, go watch Montavious Ware, and he was really fun.
All right.
He was really fun.
Mike Heck approved.
Yeah, dirty boxing is interesting. There's some things they need to change, certainly on the broadcast. I will again shout out Michael Hansen. What a incredible ring announcer. Does an incredible job, because their first two events were awful. They weren't good. And then they brought Hansen in for the third one. He was outstanding. And then he was outstanding again last night. And there's certain things on the broadcast that need to change. They trotted some like poor girl out there to do like the Megan O'Leary thing. And I felt so bad for her.
Oh no.
She just wasn't ready.
That's a hard job.
It is really hard.
It's
really hard. I'm sitting there watching it, and I was like, oh no. I was like, give her something, like speak in her ear, do something. And it was just, it hurt my soul. I felt so bad for this woman, that she just wasn't ready for this spot. So hopefully, she works it out. Cause like, I think she's got something, but she just looks like, I felt really bad watching it. I'm like, oh no. But otherwise, Dirty Boxing got something going on. So let's see what they could do. Oh, the national anthem girl was, yeah, that was something too. So there were certain things that I liked, and there were certain things that weren't great. But all in all, like Dirty Boxing, I think they got something. It's at least like, it's different. Mm-hmm. There's like a rawness to it. And yeah, hearing Jason Anik call fights is one of the funniest things in the world, because it's just like, I can't get the Anik thing out of my mind. But yeah, so there you go. Let's see what else we got here. What is one headline that they think will best describe UFC Fight Night 263 after the event happens?
Joseph Boza, that is it. You have stumped me. All right.
I have it.
Oh, please.
I have it. We are 13 days away from UFC 322. That's a headline. I'm sorry.
That's a strong headline. We are, I was going to say, how many UFC on ESPN events technically left? Would you like?
The fight night cards. So there'll be 1, 2, 3 more after this one.
Sorry, because Qatar will be like what will it be called? That'll be a fight night card. That'll be a fight night, which is not the same as an ESPN card. Yeah. Okay. So enjoy it now, guys. We're counting down to that. You won't be seeing that sweet ESPN signage again after December 13th.
Effing wait for this day to come. I'm sorry. Like I would like to watch fights uninterrupted for the first time in 5 years, where like the app doesn't crash or something like that. Like it's so brutal. Hopefully Paramount can figure out the wattage, so to speak. So yeah, I'm ready for this era to be over.
These are US problems. Canada, we had sweet fight. Oh no, that's not a fight. Well, we had stuff on Sportsnet. We still have it on like a regular cable subscription channel.
Okay.
So we do not have to deal with the streaming issues.
Is Clay Guida officially out of the UFC?
I don't think so.
I think he is.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's out.
Retired or just not fighting?
I think he's out.
Oh, he is out. Yes, correct. Okay, I was just checking. I was checking my own rankings. Yeah, he is no longer in the UFC.
Yeah, I think it was a contract thing. So, yes, Clay is out. Yeah, I think he's doing the RAF wrestling event. Bellamir's on that card.
Yeah.
I believe that's the same one that Michael Chandler and Chad Mendez are competing on.
Okay.
So, yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun. Thoughts on Gable's ceiling as an MMA fighter?
Okay. Well, I don't want to talk about this topic too much, but I mean, I do see mentioning in the comments. No, I'm not going to go there. I feel it needs to be mentioned. Yes, the guy has, I think he has a bad history. You guys can look it up yourself. I'm not going to rehash it here. I guess it is our responsibility to cover like sort of all aspects of the story. But yeah, he has a very, very regrettable past. I hope if he makes it to the UFC level one day, it is addressed. Let me put it that way. I don't feel like this is something that should be buried, and I hope it's addressed. And I will, when I have the opportunity and when it's the right time, I'll certainly bring it up when I want to talk about it. But as far as just the on-field product, as it were, we were sounds so bad, Mike. We were saying this during the Jeltsin Almeida Volkov fight. Was it? No, sorry, no, it wasn't there. It was during the Hamdi Chris Barnett fight. We were like, I mean, Gable would just toss either of these guys out of the ring.
Gable smashes both those dudes.
And then I think actually later during the Jeltsin Volkov fight, we were also kind of going like, would he feel that? Maybe not Volkov, but the way Almeida, and you know me guys, I'm a huge Almeida fan.
He could beat Almeida. I think he could beat Almeida right now.
I don't want to say that because I still think Almeida is good, but boy, the way Almeida fights, I just don't know if he's going to win a fight like that anymore against a guy with that kind of talent. Oh my god, that kind of power. I just don't know if Almeida win that fight. But the ceilings, it's not a new. We're not saying anything original here, guys. Everyone has been saying if this guy wanted to make the move to MMA, he's going to become a world champion. That's it. He's going to become UFC champion. We were like amused sort of by the WWE move, and I think it vaguely made sense. So I remember, Mike, we were even kind of like, what we were saying he was just doing the Brock Lesnar speed run, right? Where like he just feels like he has to try WWE because there's interest there. It feels like he should have been doing MMA this whole time. But whatever path has worked for him, again, doing the DBX, I think that was that's a cute thing to do as well. So again, just talking about the talent wise, talking about him as a fighter, there's no reason he will not be the UFC world heavyweight champion by I don't know. Mike, you tell me. Yeah, what's your year? That's the one thing I can't figure out.
He'll be champion in like 4 fights.
4 fights. But when will he actually? But when will they act? Oh, you mean just 4 fights in total? Like by some
in the UFC.
Oh, okay. So, but when do you think that they'll say, okay, you are now like we are going to put you onto the roster? You're now a UFC fighter. When do you think that's going to happen?
I think he's gonna. I mean, they should probably just sign him at this point. Like just straight. Like I think he's basically under a quote unquote developmental deal. Like it's kind of like the Bo Nichols situation where like Bo won on Contender Series. Like, oh, I need to see more, but he was already like under lock and key.
Yep.
Like we already reported that and we knew that. Like he was already signed, but this is just like, hey, let's just trot him out there again, just so people watch Contender Series. I don't think they're gonna do that with Gable, but he is gonna fight for like. If he fights again, he'll do another LFA fight, and he'll just cream whoever he fights. I would like Jed and I were talking this on BTL yesterday. Like, I would like to see him. He's 25. It's not like he's 31.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much time with this guy.
Yep.
So like, just give him like 3 more LFA fights. Like, just go in there, like cream 2 dudes, and then have him fight for the LFA heavyweight title in his like 4th LFA fight, and just win that belt, and then bring him up, and then just like go in there and do it. But the thing with heavyweight is the second he debuts, he's gonna annihilate whoever he fights. He'll be fighting for the belt real quick, real fast. So I will say, if I could make a futures bet on who will be heavyweight champion by the end of 2027, I'm picking Gable Steveson.
By 2027.
Yeah.
And at any point by the end of 2027, at some point
he will end 2027 as the heavyweight champion.
Whoa, okay, yeah, no, I mean the timeline makes sense. Let me do this. Let's do this game, Mike. Let's go up. Let's look at our heavyweight list here, UFC heavyweight list, and let's see. Let me go here and let's see who we think he could beat. Okay, so I'm not gonna start all the way at the bottom. Let's say my number 15 guy. This is not the UFC ranking, guys. This is my internal rankings. Right. I've just brought up. My number 15. We won't go one by one. My number 15 guy, Mick Parkin.
Yes.
Right now, they fought next month.
Fight is over in less than 5
Lord
hours.
have mercy. Mick Parkin's 4-1 in the UFC.
Gable will smash him.
I gotta remove this guy from Walter Walker.
Gable wins.
Really?
Yep.
He has no experience with heel hooks. He doesn't even know what a heel hook is.
He wins.
Jeez Louise. Okay. The winner of Ante, Delija, Waldo, Cortes-Acosta.
Delija's interesting. He beats Waldo, certainly.
Oh, wow. So you can't say that. You Waldo's your boy. You just said Waldo's going to beat Ante.
I would pick. I'm just thinking about like from stylistic perspective. Like Ante could just be like super boring. I would pick him against pretty much everybody not named Curtis Blades, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, Cyril Gane, or Tom
That's
Aspinall
where I was going to the top 5. Essentially the top 5 of UFC heavyweight right now. Damn.
Yeah, probably.
Damn, that is high praise. 25 years old, you said.
Yeah. And just the thing about him is just like just basically his just his wrestling skill alone.
Sure.
If he just knows like basic ground and pound, which he clearly does, he's gonna wreck all these guys. So unless they can all defend takedowns, which they're not gonna be able to. So there is one man who he cannot beat. And it's Paca Porter. But everybody is well aware not to do that. Like you don't want to stunt this man's growth.
No.
You do not want to stunt this man's growth. You want to keep him going high for the UFC. So yeah, he's going to be interesting. Look, I understand the checkered past. It is what it is. You think the UFC is going to care about that? They certainly are not.
Cedric Dumas is fighting in 24 hours. And he is nowhere near the level of like prospect that like a Gable Steveson. Like, I mean, like, guys, I hate to break it down to dollars and cents. Like I said, I never want to sweep anyone's like, crimes under the rug, especially they're heinous as Stevenson's like what he was involved in. But if we're talking, just strictly business, there's a reason they keep a guy like Conor McGregor around all the time, and John Jones, but all these like bad headlines. The Cedric Dumas thing is completely mystifying. Like, again, like we said, Gable Steveson, they see a guy, this guy could be a legitimate heavyweight UFC champion for us someday. I don't understand the Cedric Dumas thing, but to Mike's point, if they're keeping him around, a guy who, again, has not had like one memorable moment in the UFC, they will not give a crap about Gable Stevenson's background. So
they don't care. They don't care about what John Jones has done in the past.
Oh my gosh, is doing now probably.
They have promoted him more than anybody else on the entire roster over the last decade. So it just is what it is, man. Like that's how the company operates.
Our business. It's our business. Yeah,
that's what they do. Do we have anything else? I mean,
come on, guys. Vegas 110 questions. I didn't see a lot of Vegas 110 questions here. I didn't see a lot of people asking you about. This is sad because I just had to look it up. Philip Rowe. You guys want to Timothy Kwamba? Daniel Frunza. Daniel Frunza, the only man to lose the UFC fight to Reese McKee. We don't want to talk about that. Any questions?
All right. This is the last. What's next for Mateusz Ronbeczki, I believe is the correct pronunciation, who's slowly claiming the most violent man in the UFC title. A year off. How about that? How about a year off? This dude has taken so much damage in the last year. Like, take a little bit of time off, Let's heal up a little bit.
Heal your face, bro. Heal your face. Your face is not, even given your chosen profession, your face is not supposed to be bleeding that much, that frequently. Mateus, okay? So please, I think Mike is right. Take a year off. Hopefully it's never going to heal fully. I mean, look at the Diaz brothers, right? Like, it's just at some point your face gets to a point, someone touches you and you start gushing blood. But Mateus, we can still save you. We still save that face of yours. So let's, I think Mike is right. Just a little bit of time off, But yeah, what a joy to watch.
Oh yeah. There's certain fighters, like Ronbeczki may not ever win a fight again in the UFC because he's in the best division in the sport. But I don't even care. Like, that's a guy that's going to be employed forever. Forever, he will be employed by this company because of what he does. So he's the man. He's the dude. So let's see if we can get some wins and get back out there. So, all right, I think we are good. Oh, we'll do one more. What's the low key fight of the night? David Onama versus Steve Garcia. What do you think, AK?
Sorry, I saw a comment that made me laugh. I'm sorry. I will get to that one after. Fight of the night, man.
Low key fight of the night.
Like, yeah, I kind of want to say. Actually, no. Oh, actually, no. I think Phil Rowe. Really good. That could be someone just getting knocked out in the first round too. So maybe I shouldn't pick that as fight of the night. But if that doesn't happen, could extend to actually really, really fun fight. Actually, really.
You want a good betting? Here's my betting tip of the day. And maybe Jed will agree with me on this. Let me pull up the betting odds for this fight, which is that's a preliminary fight. So Seon Hyun Ko is a minus 188 favorite. The comeback on Phil Rowe is plus 152. You can do one of two things. I would bet on Ko. I would bet on Ko right now. Like just take that price because I think it's gonna go up a little bit. The second that first horn rings to go into round 2, you live bet the hell out of Phil Rowe.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Live bet the hell out of that man, because if Ko don't finish Phil Rowe by round 3, he's losing, because that's what Phil does. Like if you can get Phil out of there quick, good for you. But if you can't, he could be 10-8 in the first 2 rounds. He is third round Phil Rowe is the dude. Like there's second round Derek Lewis. There's this whole third round Charles Jourdain thing that like wasn't really a thing, but third round Phil Rowe is a real thing. So take the favorite. If we get out of round 1, live bet Phil Rowe, because he'll probably be at like plus 300, and then just go.
That's a good tip.
That's a good tip.
We had Zach Schulte, chiming in. A long time on no contributor, Zach Schulte. It took me a second to register this. I don't know why. Can we get Ante Delija to walk out to the plain white tees? Hey there, hey there, Delija. Hey there, Delija. I get it.
It should be like plain white tees singing, but Ante voicing over, and the music stops. Like, hey there, Delija.
Yes, really top-notch production. Yeah, really top-notch editing.
Yeah. I think it's actually pronounced Delia, but he's gonna be Delija for us for the rest of our time.
Oh, that's all I hear now. I hear now. Yeah.
No, God. Now I'm gonna have plain white tees just blaring in my brain all day. So all right. I think we're good. I mean, I think we have discussed everything we possibly can on this fight card. And look, AK and I have been pretty positive with this one. It's better than I think most are seeing it as. I do agree with Jed. This is, if you got other plans, you should probably like partake in those plans. Apple picking, wine tastings, whatever the fall activity is of choice. You should probably take part in that, and then just follow us at MMAfighting.com. AK, final message to the Blue Jays, Blue Jay Nation, baseball fans around the world.
Guys, they're going to win, but I always say, no matter what happens, it has been a hell of a ride. Our expectations for this team, I speak for a lot of Toronto fans for sure, were very low at the beginning of the season. This was supposed to sort of be like a transition season. So it's been a magical ride, man. So many things that have never happened before with Trey Savage, with the pinch hit home run, Addison Barger, like just record after record going down. So it's been awesome. It's a little bit like, and I hope it doesn't end the same way, the Indiana Pacers going to the finals last year. It's actually very similar vibes, except this time the Pacers, or in this case, the Blue Jays, are going to win. So there we go, guys. Yamamoto goes down tonight. 2-1 Blue Jays. 2-1 Blue Jays tonight. 2-1 Blue Jays.
I'm rooting for you. And I think you got to close. I think you got to do it tonight. I think you have to do it tonight. This cannot go to 7.
I'm not scared. Hey, and if it does, this team ain't scared. This team's been counted out so many times this year, and they just keep finding a way, man. So it's been a hell of a ride. Love this team. Well,
shout out to Blue Jays Nation. Hope you get it done. And we'll be here tomorrow. People's Free Fight Show, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. More of your questions, more of your thoughts, and who the hell else knows what can happen in the MMA world between now and then. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Happy Halloween, everybody.